Hi, this is a really quick first thoughts video I sometimes do when I get a different guitar. I'm just going to talk quickly about this one. It's I'm not sure how you pronounce this. I think it's Maybach or Maybach. Not sure how you pronounce it. They're a company I don't really know much at all about. I was looking for a Thinline Telecaster. This is a Thinline, so it means, in case you don't know, Thinline means it's kind of partly hollow. It's got an F hole here. Makes it a bit louder than a normal telly and a bit lighter usually. I wanted a Thinline one. I was obviously looking at Fenders and not much else, and I really sort of started looking at custom shop Fenders, and they were just way more money than I wanted to spend on a Thinline telly at this time. So custom shop Fenders are like every other maker guitar. They've just gone up so much in price in the last couple of years. So they're really expensive. I was looking online at some different ones. Some just seemed really good. There's one in particular I saw that a shop did a demo of that I thought was really nice, and that would have done me, that one. But anyway, it was a lot of money. And I found this by chance. And this was a new guitar, but it was probably maybe a third of the price of the custom shop Fender that I like the look of. So way less money, and the reviews of these said that they were very similar guitars. So I took a chance on this one. Anyway, it's really similar to a custom shop Fender. To me, I've had custom shop Fenders. It doesn't feel like a normal kind of like American standard type guitar. It doesn't really feel like that, or it's got a real kind of custom shop vibe about it. It's very hard to describe that and pinpoint what it is about it, but something about the feel of the neck and the finish of it and everything, it's like a real vintage type guitar, and it's not too refined, which I found Fender custom shop guitars aren't. They're a bit rough and ready, really. There's something really cool about them, and they usually sound amazing in my experience. Custom shop Fenders usually sound brilliant, and I usually prefer the sound of them to all their competition. So guitars like Sir and Tom Anderson and all the sort of the high-end kind of boutique makers I've tried, and I usually prefer the sound of the custom shop Fenders, but invariably I prefer the other makes to actually play. I don't really get on that well with Fenders to play. But anyway, this one, even playability wise, it is like a custom shop Fender. It's kind of not perfect for me, although I can tweak the setup a bit more, and I will do, and I'll keep adjusting it, and it's getting better so far. Haven't had it long. But anyway, first impressions are it's great. It sounds really good. Pickups, I should have checked before I started doing this. I think they're Van Sant. I think that's how you say it. Company I'd heard of, but I don't know anything about. But the pickups are really good. I do really like the pickups. Standard three-way switch, and the sounds of in the three positions are so different to each other. I will do a proper demo of this guitar soon, but today I just wanted to talk about it. But the sounds of them are incredibly different. The range is quite extreme compared to a lot of guitars, which is really good. Machine heads work well. They're sort of vintage style slotted tuners. They're good. It's got quite a chunky neck. The radius is, I think it's sort of vintage kind of radius at this end, and then it changes sort of up this end. It gets a bit more sort of modern feeling. I haven't particularly noticed it being hard to play down here, and I thought I might because I don't get on that well with vintage radius guitars, but it's pretty good. As I said, the setup's not perfect for me yet, but I'm going to keep fiddling with it. What else can I tell you about it? The one weird thing, I don't dislike this particularly, but it's a bit odd, is it's kind of slightly relicked. So this is a new guitar, but the bridge and that pickup and the neck plate on the back, and I suppose the machine heads a bit, they all kind of look old and like a custom shop Fender sort of relic. They've been aged artificially, which is great. They've done a really good job of that, and it gives it a nice kind of vibe. But the wood hasn't been aged, so it's there's no kind of dents in it or scratches and things like you get on a relic guitar. That's a little bit weird, but doesn't bother me. Oh, one thing quickly that is really good on this guitar, bit of a strange thing to comment on, these strap buttons. When I got it, I thought they were a bit big and a bit weird looking. I thought I might change those. I normally put strap locks on my guitar, but when I started looking at them, this part unscrews. Now, you might be watching this thinking, yeah, I've seen lots of those, but I've never seen this before. You unscrew that. Some Gretsch guitars have a slightly similar thing, and you're left with a normal strap button, but this bit unscrews, and so it means you can put your strap on there, stick this on, and because it's quite big, it's really just like a bit like a strap lock. It's not as good as a lot of strap locks, but with most guitar straps, that's going to do the job perfectly well. And there's one on each end, and I think that's a brilliant thing. I don't know if that's Maybach's thing or whether they've got that from someone else. I don't know, but really good. So unfortunately, I can't tell you much about this company at all. They're a European company. I think they're German, and I think some of their guitars are made in Germany and some are made in Czech Republic, I think. This one's supposed to be a custom shop. It says custom shop on it, so it's their custom shop. I'll try to find out a bit more about them and do a proper demo and tell you more about them. But yeah, I really recommend them so far anyway, for what I've sort of seen and heard of this one. Really good. This one is a T-68 Teleman. The Teleman is their Telecaster. They basically do copies of all the standard guitars like Les Pauls, Strats. And I've only been playing this for a couple of weeks, but already I can feel here it's a really thin finish on it, I think, and you can feel it's starting to wear, but in a nice way. I quite like that, so I think this will age really well and sort of play in really well. And it's obviously a bit louder than a solid body electric. I don't know if that comes across on here, but it's not quite as loud as I thought it might be acoustically, but it's good. It's good for teaching if I'm not using an amp in some of the schools I teach in. It's good for that. And it's got a real kind of snap to it, to the sound. If you want to hear it plugged in, I have done a few quick demos of this. When it first arrived, I quickly plugged it in, and I'll put some links somewhere here to those. Yeah, but so far, I really recommend them. So that's Maybach. Okay, thanks.